What's up, everyone? Today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Amorphage. Now, Amorphage is a very interesting deck. Basically, the whole deck's gimmick is your opponent can't special summon from the extra deck. How this doesn't see a bunch of competitive play confuses me, but without further ado, let's get right into the profile. First off, I run the 3 Goliath. Now, all the Amorphage monsters have effect when they're tribute summoned or Pendulum summoned. Your opponent, neither player can special summon monsters from the extra deck. Goliath and one of the others don't have the tribute and Pendulum restriction, it's just there. Like Goliath says, neither player can special summon monsters from the extra deck except Amorphage monsters. And that's basically all the Amorphage monsters. Now each of them also has a Pendulum effect, which is different. The Pendulum effects can also be pretty good. For Goliath, any card sent to the graveyard gets banished instead, so while it's in the monster zone, can't summon from the extra deck. While it's in the Pendulum zone, it's a Macrocosmos, which is really good. Also run 3 Sloth. Same effect as Goliath. Neither player can summon monsters from the extra deck, except Amorphage monsters. And the Pendulum effect is basically Thundering Colossus. Neither player can add cards from the deck to the hand except by drawing them. Now, the rest of the Amorphage monsters have the previously mentioned effect where if they're Pendulum Summoned or Tribute Summoned, or Pendulum Summoned or Flip Face Up, not Tribute Summoned because they're level 4 or lower, but if they're Flip Face Up or are Pendulum Summoned, then neither player can special summon monsters from the extra deck while they're face up on the field, except Amorphage monsters. The only thing different would be their Pendulum effects. Like for Pride, you don't take damage, Greed, can't activate traps, Wrath, they contribute. Lechery for spells. Envy can't activate as a Chain Link 2 or higher. And lastly, Gluttony. And that one's for monsters. Now, all the Amorphage Pendulum effects also have the effect to, during the standby phase, either tribute one monster or destroy this card. So that's kind of like their maintenance costs. So, because obviously if they just stayed on the field, then not only are their monster effects good, but the Pendulum effects are really good as well. So like the Amorphage, they're just really insane. But I kind of found a way to kind of get around that restriction and also being able to Pendulum summon Sloth at least, because unfortunately the Pendulum skills are only 3 and 5. And we got the Lechery and Gluttony are level 2 and Sloth and Glass are 5 and higher. So those ones can be Pendulum summoned. But thanks to a strategy I came up with, that ain't a problem. I run the 1 Monkey board and the 1 Celestial Magician. Monkey board is a 1 card, 2 scales, essentially. Basically, while it's in the Pendulum zone, you can add 1 other Pendulum, 1 Perform Pal from your deck to your hand, which we can add Celestial, which is a level 8 scale. So we've got 1 through 8. So basically everything can be Pendulum summoned except Goliath, which is definitely very good. And we don't have to worry about these leaving the field. Obviously, you know, if they have something like a Lightning Storm or MST, then that's going to get rid of them. But outside of that, they don't have the costs that the Amorphage do, that they need to sacrifice a monster in order to stay on the field. So with these two in the Pendulum scales, we can just keep on bringing the Amorphages out, and our opponent is going to have very little chance to really do anything to counteract that. Moving on to the spells. Next, I run 3 copies of Wavering Eyes. Now, Wavering Eyes is very important in this deck. Since the Amorphage Pendulum monsters are going to get destroyed anyways, having Wavering Eyes to be able to tribute them to get an effect out of them is pretty good. And the secondary effect of Wavering Eyes is where it's really at. So basically, depending on the number of Pendulums that you destroy as a result of Wavering Eyes, you gain that many effects. The second one is the one that only really one that matters, is that you can add 1 Pendulum monster from your main deck to your hand. This is your Monkey board searcher. Fortunately, I couldn't really find many ways to search Monkey board that really fit well in this archetype. During most of the times we are locked into Amorphage because we can't Pendulum summon outside of Amorphage. I'll start on the 1 Amorphage Infection. Infection's a very solid card, but it comes up situationally. All Amorphage monsters on the field gain 100 attack and defense for each Amorphage card on the field. If a monster in your hand or you control is tributed or destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add 1 Amorphage monster from your deck to your hand. So basically, if you use the Wavering Eyes effect, you can search in addition to being able to get the Monkey board. Also run 2 copies of Pendulum Treasure, add a Pendulum monster to your extra deck, and the 2 Pendulum Paradox, which allows you to add 2 face-up Pendulum monsters with the same Pendulum skill, different names, from your extra deck to your hand. Lastly, for the spells, I run 3 Extrav. I was running a Pot of Prosperity in the last version I made of this deck, but Extravagance is better because, well, yes, the Prosperity being able to dig is nice. I'd rather have the draw 2, that way I have more Amorphages on the field, and I'm going to limit my opponent's plays that much more, because if I have only 1 Amorphage on the field, then they can just attack over it. But if I have like 2 or 3, then that becomes a lot harder and their options are a lot more restricted. Moving on to the traps, I run 3 Solemn Judgment and 2 Punishment. As I said before, same thing as in the case of like spell books or barrier statues, if you just attack over them, you can get rid of them easy. That's where Solemn Judgment and Dogmatic Punishment come in. They're basically there to protect the board. So if my opponent has a Dark Ruler, Droplet, Imperm, Solemn Judgment just says, yep, that ain't happening. Of course, Punishment, you can get the 2-for-1 value when you send in a test. Moving to the extra deck, I run 3 copies of Elder Entity Test, the punishment target. Of course, Garua is also a target for punishment as well. And the remaining cards I run a Starving, Devotrium, in case you want to put Super Poly in the side deck. Quentin has got 45 attack. Galaxy CI Cypher has 45 attack. Access Code. Honestly, after this, it really just does not matter. Outside of the tests and Garua, and if you play Super Poly, these two, your extra deck is very irrelevant. You still want to have it for the extravagance, but considering the Amorphage locks both players out of the extra deck, we really can't do anything with the extra deck, so we're like almost never going to have any access to our extra deck. The only way is in the off chance that we summon both Monkey Board and the other Perform Pal, which is not very likely, and you're not going to do that. Like, they're much better at scales than on the field. So I'd say outside of this, it's really whatever you want. If you just want to, I don't know, put a card in there because you want to, like, to say, I don't know, I really like Sun Summoner and Cherubini. You just put them in there for no reason. You could, because outside of this, you're not really going to do much. So that's it for my Amorphage deck profile. Let me know what you think of this deck. I think this deck is pretty cool and definitely has potential to be a very powerful deck in the future. Let me know in the comments and I'll see you next time I make. Bye.